Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday.
And that means Tom and Kelly Show. We don't know what episode.
Some Thursdays.
We're
not keeping track. We're just not even doing this. This is,
We don't even know what episode. I think it's 6. I'm going to guess. I think.
And it's like the end of July and we're only on episode 6. We are slackers. Well, we have been very busy. We've been very busy planting, digging, weeding, harvesting, celebrating summer, eating. It's been a good summer.
It's been a good summer. And, and as we mentioned in our teaser, I'm going to my 50th high school reunion, 1975. And,
You're
me,
old.
I'm old. I'm older than her. But, it brings up the question of, I used to do some costuming all the time. And Kelly, people are going like, where's the costuming?
They are?
Some people are.
Okay.
Because that's that's Captain Chaos is just to bring this chaotic thing.
Right.
So, so I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to wear? What am I going to Bell bottoms, 1975 bell bottoms, the big first year of disco.
Hinder gardening ability.
Yeah, but let's just say I tried some trousers, some pants, my camping ones, and
Are they a little tight, Tom?
They're a little tight, but they're still like the same size waist, but they're like this high.
Yeah, that was the style.
I know.
They were really short.
Remember the shorts back then? Remember the men's basketball teams?
Tube socks.
And they had those. I mean, oh God, all those tube socks and everything. So I said, what else can I do from 1975? Well,
you wore the T-shirts?
I wore.
Oh my God!
Well, it's on. You
sent me this picture last night. So this is a T-shirt that he wore. Apparently, let's show him.
It was my favorite group.
Your senior year, Led Zeppelin. Spring of 75. That fits you really well.
Pretty good. Can you make it out?
You were how old?
There's Robert Plant.
What does it say? Something I can't. Oh, it says Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
See?
Oh, nice.
It is my Led Zeppelin T-shirt.
1970 something.
Well, I think it was a 72 concert, but I bought it in 75. I have a picture of me with my buddy in high school right after prom. We sang along. We loved. Yep.
So 50 years, I get all that. So what does that have to do with what we do?
Oh, we're talking about gardening in 75. And you know me, I've learned so much since being a master gardener the last almost 8 years and being with this woman here. She's a genius. But we're going to tell you a little bit of what they did back in 75 versus what we are doing now 50 years later.
Okay, I will I challenge you to wear that shirt all day today.
I will, because you know what?
Are you taking it at the reunion?
I don't think there's going to be a moment for that. It's not like, okay, everybody wear their garb.
I think you should just walk in with it on. But the first thing I notice is that it's a dark color, and I don't like to wear dark colors out in the sun because they absorb the heat of the sun, and you just stay cooler in a lighter color. So I give you permission to wear a lighter color T-shirt. I know it's gorgeous out. So how has gardening or even farming changed in the last 50 years?
Oh,
it is significant.
Yeah.
It is significant. We're now, we have been for quite some time. And of course, the Rodale Institute that formed in, I think it was 47, they have been practicing organics and understanding those negative externalities of the mining that we do in the soil to just harvest vegetables, the threats to biodiversity, the water pollution, the soil health negativities. So the Rodale Institute has kind of been a premier leader since the end of World War II. But since 75, things have changed even more. We had a different agriculture secretary that really promoted tilling. And now we're doing regenerative ag. We're practicing more soil health and not turning our soil so much.
Well, the other thing, the big aspect is cultural. I mean, people grew, they did what Mom did, right? Mom grew tomatoes and she canned them and jarred them, whatever, pickled cucumbers. And so that's what they knew. And my dad, it had to be, big boy tomato. That's all he ever, that's all he heard of was big boy. I go, Dad, there's bigger boy, there's little girl or whatever. There's all these other tomatoes.
Early girl.
Okay, I don't want to go there, but but I mean, and now look at me. I mean, I'm growing Asian cucumbers because
growing,
I'm growing
because they taste better.
Come on,
because they taste better. Yeah, they taste. You've grown.
Oh, they're awesome. I can't. Yeah. So I mean, so even the diversity and the culture that we have now, where we're bringing in cultures and they're bringing their vegetables in.
Right, we're practicing more seed saving now. People are understanding that those heirloom veg, or specifically open pollinated, kind of bringing back that biodiversity of seeds, the diversity that's just in the seeds that has changed over the last century, even over just the last 50 years, is hugely important. So that's why we're getting a lot of those new varieties that you see at farmers markets. People are reaching out and trying to grow those things as well.
Yeah, who doesn't notice the variety nowadays? Oh my God!
Right.
So, and it's not just vegetables and fruits and stuff, but yeah, it's crazy. So, back then it was ornamentals. I remember Mom, she'd have a flower and a little thing, a little potted thing by the doors, things like that. But now people are building, like we have here at TGL, a garden that embraces. It's sustainable. It's more native because it's hardy. It promotes the local habitat, insects, birds, things like that. But it also embraces the house. It's part of the...
It's part of the landscape, the foodscape. It's a part of...
It's not like, there's our garden over there. The tomatoes, they're over there.
Right, yeah. So it's a part of what you do. And more people are growing foods in pots. So we still have the pots by the door, but a lot of folks are embracing patio gardening because with what we have with land access now and using their decks if they're south facing especially to grow things, there's more accessibility growing through pots. There's a lot of varieties that actually can be grown in pots. I mean, speaking of hybrids, there's smaller varieties that are meant to grow in pots, but there's also a lot of the those original land race veg or, those open pollinated veg that you can grow in pots as well. So I think gardening, especially since the pandemic, has changed significantly. And of course, we're going back to that place where people used to cook more of their own food.
A little bit,
right?
Because they're having the gardens and they have the varieties and they're looking at maybe more ethnic varieties or foods, and then they're looking at the foods that they use, right? Like the ones from Mexico or Asia or whatever, European.
Yeah, those culturally specific foodstuffs that, we've learned to enjoy as our country has grown, as the world has expanded, and we just keep getting smaller and smaller while we're expanding, right?
How about peppers? Oh my God, my mom made a stuffed bell pepper. I mean,
the green bell pepper,
and that was as spicy as we got back then.
Yeah, right.
I mean, spaghetti would come in packages, right? Chef Boyardee and all that. And now look at what people do just in peppers. It's like
it's
ghost
great.
Peppers.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, so jalapeno is nothing anymore. So
right.
But the other thing is one thing I noticed, even with Master Gardening recently, and Kelly's been a big proponent of this too, is the soil. It really all starts with, you don't have that shirt, we don't have that shirt on, right? It starts with soil, right? She does, but it all starts with soil. We used to go in there, what would you you'd go to the garden, what do you do in the spring?
Just till it up, black dirt. Yeah, that beautiful black soil.
You would till it back and forth, and you had to make it like it was just like pumice, like soft, built, I mean, it's
pumice is soft?
I don't know. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Maybe broken up hummus, but it's just like
humus.
Well,
there
whatever.
Is no humus until Tom.
Where are we? Okay, so but it was you had to you would pull out and there's a root, there's a thing. You would pull everything out, so it was just dirt.
Powder,
but you didn't even understand the fungi that live,
the life
in there, the nematodes.
Yeah. More life in a teaspoon of soil than there is.
And the native bees probably got chewed up quite a bit back then.
Sure.
So now we don't do that. In fact, we even harvest. And what do we do when we like these plants? What are you going to do? Are you going to dig up those roots?
No, absolutely not. I cut them off of the ground and leave them in for water and air infiltration.
Yeah.
Just this week, 3 people have asked me about some gardening advice, and they said, I haven't had a really great garden, so I'm going to rent a tiller again. And would you give me some advice? And I said, well, first of all, save your money. Don't rent a tiller. Stop tilling.
Yes, really.
Do not till your soil.
Don't even think about it.
Consider a living ground cover all the time. And I know people think that looks messy, but a living ground cover is so wonderful. You can just spread your fingers apart, dig with your trowel, and put your little transplant in. Think of gardening sort of as like a rainforest. There's that lower ground level, and then there's that upper canopy level. Well, those tomatoes are the upper canopy level. And if you've got clover spreading around on the ground, wow, that's a great way to lock in nitrogen, fix nitrogen, to add organic matter to the soil. Plus, it keeps the soil cooler and it keeps the soil more moist because it's being shaded.
I mean, I grew up in Iowa, right? And we used to do corn, beans, and I didn't even know. They still do because it's crop rotation, right? I mean, somewhat, maybe not as sophisticated as what we got here, but I mean, crop rotation. I mean, it would be like, nope, tomatoes go over here. I mean, it was like, there was no discussion when you were laying out a garden, right? especially with your parents. But
and it's neat to look in some of those other like historical publications, magazines or books about the victory gardens from World War II, and that's when the impetus really started towards a lot more chemicals, right? That leftover
that we haven't
chem
mentioned
from
that.
the war, right?
Chemicals and pesticides. That was expected.
There was the push for that. So by the time we got to 75, the year you graduated high school, 50 years ago, we were a chemical laden, gardening, agricultural
chemicals
society,
were good.
and we're finally starting to go back to what we knew prior to World War II and the things that we understood. We're even foraging wild plants, our weeds, and putting them in the foods that we eat. For instance, at the Farm to Fork dinner on Saturday, there was purslane in our salad.
Purslane.
Shannon harvested the purslane, washed it, and it's a wonderful addition. High omega-3s. Great weed to eat. It's really not a weed.
Challenge you to try that.
Nutritionally dense.
Just break up a couple and put it on your salad.
So some of those cultural or indigenous learnings are coming back to what we do every day now, and it's pretty great.
It's pretty awesome. So that's just, I don't know if we've touched on everything, but it has changed quite a bit, and it's continuing to change. And as master gardeners, right, we're getting new updates every year. There's research going on. They're doing seed trials. So we're really trying to see what's going to be resilient here in the environment, and also how we're also promoting, natives, as we said, the insects and stuff like that. Because it's really, we got to pay attention to habitat. Oh, the other thing was, God, when the year was over, when season, we would come in here and hack all this stuff up, dig up the roots and throw it away, right? Now it's like, no, leave some of this, right? Habitat for overwintering, especially up here in Minnesota, right? So
as long as it's not pathogen filled, as long as it's not going to produce more disease.
But that's a big thing now. So now, and I do it selectively. I leave some spots where I don't harvest everything. I don't take all the dead material out and stuff, and just let it overwinter, right? So anyway, what else I think we've covered everything. So
I don't think we've covered everything, but I think we've covered enough. It says 12 minutes.
12 minutes, and we're up there. So I do, anyway, shout out to the class of 1975, George Washington High School in Cedar Rapids. And it's been a long time since I rock and rolled. But it was, I've been playing 1975 songs. 1975 was the beginning of disco.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, when I started playing, I'm going like, oh my God, that's when disco really started taking on. I mean, Saturday Night Fever, I think was 77 or something like that, or 76, but it was like a turning point. So anything else, Kelly?
No, Tom, I think it's time to say goodbye.
It's time to say goodbye. Bye.
See ya.